Good evening, everyone. We would like to begin this evening with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are in the traditional territories of diverse indigenous groups, and we acknowledge with respect the histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. We encourage everyone to reflect on the lands where you are located and the indigenous peoples for whom these lands are traditional territory. To those here in the room and those watching online, welcome to the 42nd Alumni-Tribute-Awards. My name is Arman Hussain, and I am so honored to be your co-MC this evening along with Sarah Smith. Sarah is a fifth-year student in the Commerce Co-op program at Memorial University with a concentration in accounting and a minor in French. Throughout her academic journey, she has received 3 consecutive Dean's List Awards for dedication to her studies. She is an active student leader and an advocate for environmental causes. She received the 2022 Peter and Janet Gardner Award for International Study, an award established on behalf of the first female accountant in Newfoundland and Labrador. She is also the vice president of the Commerce Class of 2024 Students' Council, an analyst on the fund, studied at the Harlow campus in 2023, and so much more.
Thank you so much, Arman. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be here tonight and for this opportunity to co-MC with you. Arman is an international student from Bangladesh, currently in his 4th year of his Bachelor of Business Administration degree. He holds the role of coordinator at the Student Volunteer Bureau and serves as one of Memorial's student leaders. As a Memorial University student leader, Arman has represented Memorial University at numerous events and has organized various Welcome Week events with fellow student leaders. Throughout his MUN journey, Arman has collectively engaged in volunteer work with various organizations, clubs, and societies. Notably, he served as a board member at MUNSU during the 2019-2020 academic year. I am so pleased to share the stage with you tonight, Arman, and as a future alum, am thankful to have this connection with the Alumni Office.
Thank you so much, Sarah. The support from Memorial's alumni community helps support Memorial students in ways that are truly impactful. This evening, we recognize our outstanding alumni, and through them, we hope to inspire other alumni and friends to engage with Memorial, to build pride and shine a light on our alumni who have had a great impact on the community, province, and world. I have had so much support from Memorial in my time as a student, and I very much look forward to joining the alumni community when I graduate.
I feel the same way, Arman. The feeling of pride in the room right now is inspiring, and it makes me excited to become a member of the alumni family. We have some special guests joining us tonight. We would like to welcome Memorial University's President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Neil Bose, our Chancellor, Earl Ludlow, as well as a number of other members of senior administration from Memorial, members of the Alumni-Tribute-Awards Nomination Selection Committee, nominators, a number of our sponsors and partners, as well as other friends and supporters of Memorial University.
I would like to acknowledge our superstar orator and our Provost and Vice President's academic of Memorial, Dr. Jennifer Lokash. Dr. Lokash has been a part of this event for a number of years now, and she is always a highlight of the celebration. And of course, the star of the show, our 2023 Alumni Tribute Awards recipients. Lori and Lisa Pinhorn, daughter of Wallace Pinhorn, are recipient of the Outstanding Community Service Award, which recognizes volunteer contributions to the community. Sadly, Wallace passed away this past July, and we are very honored his family is able to join us this evening to applaud him. Adam Keating is this year's recipient of the Horizon Award, which recognizes an outstanding alumni 35 of age or younger. Luke O'Brien, recipient of the J.D. Eaton Award, which recognizes outstanding volunteer contribution to Memorial. And Tashia Batstone, our alumna of the year, the highest distinction bestowed on a Memorial graduate by the alumni body.
So, a few housekeeping items before we really get going. Although we are on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean, we have alumni all over the world. We want to give our entire alumni family the chance to be a part of this celebration, so therefore, this event is being live streamed. We are now live on the Memorial University Alumni YouTube channel. Hello to everyone joining online. For those of you who are here in the room, if you are looking for a washroom, they are located outside of this room. In the unlikely event of an emergency, we ask that you calmly head to one of the exterior exits, all of which are clearly marked. Once you exit the building, the muster station is towards the back of the upper parking lot. If there's anything else you need, you can flag down one of our helpful staff members around the perimeter of the room. I would like to invite Omar Iqbal to the front to say a few words from Johnson Insurance, our event partner for this evening's celebrations.
Thanks, everyone. So we're thrilled to be sponsoring this year's alumni-tribute-awards. All of tonight's recipients exemplify hard work and dedication to everything they do. It's an absolute honor to be here with you tonight and celebrating your achievements. We are so proud of our long-standing partnership with MUN. Our two institutions hold a strong legacy in our province, and we are excited to have MUN by our side as we move into the new chapter as Bel-Air Direct. As you may or may not have heard, Johnson Insurance is actually rebranding to Bel-Air Direct, and we hope you take some time to view our marketing campaign that we launched at the end of September. It speaks to Bel-Air Direct's continued commitment to the roots we have sown over the more than 130 years that we've done business in Newfoundland and Labrador. We're excited to continue to support the people of this province under our new brand, and congrats once again to tonight's recipients. Thanks.
Thank you, Omar. It is my honor to welcome Dr. Neil Bose, our President and Vice Chancellor here at Memorial.
Thank you, Armin and Sarah. It's wonderful to have students, future alumni, involved in these alumni celebrations. Welcome all to Memorial's 42nd Annual Alumni Tribute Awards. On behalf of the Memorial University community that encompasses over 100,000 alumni, I extend my sincere congratulations to the 2023 recipients, the late Wallace Pinhorn, Adam Keating, Luke O'Brien, and Tashia Batstone. My sincere congratulations goes out to you. Thank you for making our world a better place and for all that you do to make Memorial shine. Here at Memorial, we have a strong commitment to communities. When Memorial University College opened in 1925, classes in navigation were offered and advertised in outback communities. Extension services had regular offerings from a longliner in Placentia Bay and a lighthouse in the Strait of Belle Isle. This connection to communities was further cemented with the launch of our Community Hubs initiative, which was done a couple of weeks ago. We've partnered with local groups in 17 communities across Newfoundland and Labrador to set up technologically advanced community spaces to respond to community needs. What are some of those needs identified by communities? Think cybersecurity, training for seniors, entrepreneurship training for youth, and using hydroponics to grow vegetables. I think these hubs will take off in ways we don't yet understand, including an increase in students completing their programs online, a growth we are seeing in our registration data. Our special obligation to the people of our province informs everything we do, but not only do we want to bring spaces to you, we want you to come and visit our spaces as well. Memorial is your university after all, and our doors are open. I'm here tonight to invite you into the university. Sure, we do research, teaching and learning, but we turn that work into some amazing things. Memorial is fun as well. My first invitation is to the Botanical Gardens. Unfortunately, booze and botany is over for the season, but October at the garden is all about Halloween, with something for all ages. For all of the grown-ups, you might want to try Sunday morning bird walks, dog days at the garden, and of course the Merry and Bright Festival as the holiday season draws near. This festival has become a part of so many families' holiday traditions, and it's wonderful to see Memorial be a part of the lives and memories of growing families. I invite you to the Geo Centre. Where else can you have a cup of tea next to a rock wall that's 300 million years older than the first dinosaurs? What's up in the sky? Join Intergalactic Gary for his monthly planetarium show. Is there a senior in your life who would like a free lunch? The first 100 registrants to our free Seniors and Science event on November the 7th will enjoy just that. And who doesn't love music? I invite you to enjoy our amazing School of Music's concert series. From now until December, audiences can enjoy concerts that highlight the talent in the School of Music's student and alumni community. Tomorrow evening, recent Juno Award winner and Professor of Jazz Studies, Florian Hoffner, alongside Danny Orr, will perform from their debut album, The Ecstasy of Being. Or spend your lunch break with a free noontime concert at the music school. And finally, I invite you to Whale of a Day on October 28th. Last year's event welcomed thousands of guests of all ages, from 9 months old to 90 years old, to the Core Science facility to learn about many things ocean. And if you haven't yet seen the blue whale skeleton, you should make the effort. It's really amazing, and the building is open all day, every day, and you can just wander in and have a look. We welcome you to come to us, see what we have to offer you. This is your university. There have been a number of alumni events across the province throughout the summer, from cocktails and banter in the Art Deco coolness of the Gander International Airport, to coffees in Clarenville, to pizza in Bonavista, to strawberry picking in Labrador. Just last week, Grenfell campus hosted an exploration of the mushroom in culture. Whether you're here in the St. John's area or anywhere around the circle, we look forward to more opportunities to forge connections within and beyond our university community. I would like to acknowledge the alumni-tribute-awards selection committee. Your devotion to Memorial is invaluable. Please stand up. Those of you who are here. And the others are online, so thank you. And a special thank you to Bob Dowden, the chair. The hours that this committee spend reviewing the submissions is much appreciated. Thank you all, alumni, donors and friends, for being here this evening on this very special celebration. It is a true highlight of the year. Please enjoy the evening, and I look forward to seeing many of you at future alumni events. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bose. It is now my pleasure to introduce our public orator, Dr. Jennifer Lokash. Jennifer Lokash is Memorial University's public orator and provost and vice president's academic. She has been a faculty member in the Department of English since 2004. In May 2022, she completed an 8-year term as head of her department, during which she oversaw the administration of programs in English, communication studies, film studies, creative writing, and stage and screen techniques. For 5 of those years, she was the director of Sparks Literary Festival. She looks forward to continue in her current leadership role to support the core academic mission of the university, fostering an environment in which students and instructors can thrive. Following the oration of each recipient, Dr. Lokash will lead the official presentation of these beautiful awards you see here on the table behind me. These beautiful works of art that you see here on the table encapsulate the creativity and originality of our Memorial alumni. These uniquely handcrafted awards were made by the incredible staff in the Mechanical Division of Technical Services, who design and construct the award statues displayed here. Each of these unique statues is handmade using various woodworking, glass blowing, and metal techniques. We thank them for the time and talent that goes into creating such beautiful pieces. We would also like to acknowledge the Botanical Garden for the beautiful flower arrangements you see here this evening. With that said, please join me in welcoming Dr. Jennifer Lokash.
Chancellor Ludlow, always a pleasure. Chair of the Board of Regents, Mr. Glenn Barnes, thank you for being here. It's always so wonderful to see you at our events. President Neil Bose and my vice president colleagues and deans, well, I see you all the time, but it's still nice to share this evening with you tonight. Honored guests, charming MCs, Armand and Sarah, lovely people, good evening. Perhaps it's because of the complexity of the leadership role I am currently serving in at the university, but I find myself frequently contemplating this classic conundrum. What would you rather fight? 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? How one responds to this thought experiment can say a lot about one's sense of their personal capacity and their general tolerance for challenge, and thus it can be revealing of one's leadership style. Would you prefer to confront a single fantastically large issue? Please imagine the dangerous, chaotic waddle of a duck the size of a horse. Or are you a multitasker, unfazed by an overwhelming number of small but relentless things coming at you? Picture a herd of tiny horses tearing through the room. Put differently, are you more comfortable in the realm of big picture vision, or do you excel in the zone of operational details? What seems certain is that true success flows best from the mastery of both. As you will see, this is evidently the case for the 4 individuals being honored here this evening, who are each equally capable of contending with the giant duck as they are of effectively managing the mini horses. What tonight's Alumni Award recipients have in common, besides each having a deep commitment to this province and this university, is that they have vision. They do the work to realize that vision, and that work has far-reaching and positive impacts on others and on the world. This year's recipient of the award for Outstanding Community Service, Wallace Pinhorn, as we were told, passed away peacefully in late July, surrounded by family, some of whom are here this evening to accept the award on his behalf. We were fortunately able to share with Wallace the good news of the award before he died, when our wonderful chancellor, who worked for Wallace many moons ago, visited him at the Miller Center to speak to him and tell him that he would be given the award. Wallace was honored and humbled, which is exactly how I feel right now, as I share with you why he so merits this recognition from his alma mater. The immense significance and power of this province's material and cultural histories is beyond dispute. Our artistic and musical traditions, our vernacular architecture, our legacy of outport life and work, and the relationship of all of these things to the coastlines that surround us. There is perhaps no image more iconic than the small wooden fishing vessel, the kind built with traditional communal methods and skills passed down through generations, the kind that represented security, safety, and survival for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians whose lives depended on the water. Wallace Pinhorn loved these boats, and he is largely to thank for safeguarding and celebrating this part of our provincial heritage. A lifetime member of the Professional Engineering Association of Newfoundland and Labrador, Wallace held a diploma in engineering, 1962 from Memorial, and a degree in civil engineering from the University of Nova Scotia. He enjoyed a long and loyal professional career with NL Power, rising in the ranks and assuming several VP roles. When he retired in 1997, he was Vice President of Technical Services. Not to diminish this successful executive career, but it appears that its perhaps unintended but key purpose was to prepare Wallace for his rather unretiring life of retirement. Winterton, about halfway up Trinity Bay, was Wallace's beloved hometown and happy place, particularly during the summers, when he loved nothing more than to spend time in his boat on the water, fishing with family and friends. It was there that he focused his hobby in genealogy research. If you're from the area, he knew all about ya. It was there that his 2 decades of volunteer work began. Driven by his abiding love for the province's outport history, in 2004, he joined the Winterton Heritage Advisory Board and would soon become a founder and forever board member and treasurer for the award-winning nonprofit Wooden Boat Museum of Newfoundland and Labrador, or the WBMNL. As treasurer, Wallace would harness his skills as a management engineer, his uncommon attention to detail, and his natural ability to lead a team to get results, to ensure that the WBMNL was financially viable and secure. Much more than just a bookkeeper, Wallace took responsibility for the annual budgeting, project financing, fundraising initiatives, and sourcing grants from government agencies. He spent countless hours in meetings, on phone calls, attending special museum events, working on donor campaigns, planning renovations, creating exhibits, and actively reaching out and connecting with community. In 2019, the Wooden Boat Museum in Winterton won the Canadian Tourism Award due to the commitment and vision of the volunteer board members and staff, with Wallace leading the charge. It is widely accepted as fact that the richness and reach of the WBMNL's exhibits, archives, educational programming, and building workshops would not have been possible without Wallace's involvement and leadership. Please join me in acknowledging the late Wallace Pinhorn, champion for the province's wooden boat heritage and legend in his hometown of Winterton. We are very fortunate to have a fine contingent of Pinhorn women here this evening, including Wallace's twin daughters, Lori and Lisa, their mother, Roseanne, who was Wallace's darling wife of 58 years, and Lisa's daughter, Charlotte. I would now like to invite Lori and Lisa to the front, along with Dr. Octavia Dobre, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Sciences, to present them with their father's Alumni Award for Outstanding Community Service.
Yeah, we're very short. Hello, everyone. We are Lisa and Lori Pinhorn, and we are Wallace Pinhorn's daughters. As a family, we talked a lot about who was going to make this speech tonight. And one day, my mother said, well, you and Lori should do it. You nominated him. This is all you're doing. So you both make the speech. This is your punishment. We laughed a lot at that because that's what we do in our family. We laugh a lot. And Dad definitely would have thought that was funny, and he definitely would have agreed with Mom because he would have been looking for a lot of ways to get out of this tonight for sure. We have many people to thank tonight, and I'm going to thank some, and Lori is going to thank others. Firstly, we would like to thank Memorial University, the Department of Alumni Affairs, and the awards committee who ultimately selected Dad for this award. Memorial was very important and a very important part of Dad's life. The opportunity to attend Memorial as an engineering student was a pivotal part of his life, and it only happened because of the scholarships that were offered to him. As was often the case in Newfoundland in the 1950s, his family was not financially able to support his post-secondary education. When Memorial came into his life, it raised him and his family out of the poverty that was omnipresent in Outport, Newfoundland and Labrador when he was a child. Dad's time at Memorial and then at Tons in Halifax made him a passionate, lifelong learner and a very deep critical thinker. Dad was in the very first class of engineers. He went to school at the Parade Street campus and also at Prince Philip. He was part of the ceremony that marched from the old campus to the new campus. And back in 2013, he attended every part of the Parade Street reunion ceremonies. We'd like to thank the Department of Alumni Affairs for working so hard to make sure that Dad was aware of this award before he died. Thanks for the early framing of the certificate in July so he could see it when he was in hospital. It meant an awful lot to all of us, but mostly to him. We would also, sorry, my fingers are not working. Thanks to the Provincial Wooden Boat Building Museum. We see this award as a partnership between Dad and the museum. And we'd also like to thank the people of Winterton who wrote letters of support for this award. Your kind words about Dad helped us solidify what we already saw in him. This award is a lovely recognition of the team approach in Winterton and the museum that Dad was such a big part of. Thanks to the board of the museum and the staff that work so closely with Dad every day. To call it a passion project doesn't quite give a description of how important this work was to him. And as a family, we would like to make special thanks to B.Eng, who's here tonight. Bev and Dad made a very, very powerful team of funding finders, meeting organizers, and dream builders. They worked together really well. We can't miss this opportunity to thank our mother, Roseanne. Only a very special person would have the patience to deal with their partner taking on multiple full-time volunteer jobs in their retirement and up into their 80s. She saw Dad's attention for detail and tenacity in real time every day. And for that, she should probably get an award. We'd like to thank the Faculty of Education for once again offering their technical lab space for another boat building workshop in 2024. Making this space available for the tangible history inside the walls of Memorial feels like a full circle representing our history and post-secondary learning, and we're very grateful. We'd also like to take this opportunity to let the community of Memorial know that as a family, we have created in Dad's memory the Wallace Pinhorn Wooden Boat Building Scholarship. This scholarship will be offered in partnership with the museum to fund a seat for a post-secondary student to participate in a boat building workshop each year. We see this as a fitting tribute to Dad based on his lived experience with scholarships, his love of learning, his love of Newfoundland and Labrador history, and his deep understanding of the importance of wooden boats to our unique culture. And now Lori's gonna have a turn.
Dad had no idea about this award, that he was nominated, and it's a bit of a miracle that he didn't know because he asked so many questions. It's amazing that he didn't find out about it. It was a really hot summer day down at the Miller Center when the cell phone rang and we got the word from a representative of the university that he had won the award. And it was a tough day. And to say that that was a good piece of news that we needed, it's an understatement. So we waited for a day before we told him about the award, and he was really sick on that day, and I had convinced him to let me feed him one of his favorite soups. He loved the zucchini cream soup. Lisa is the maker of the soup. So I said to him, "Hey, do you want some good news?" And he was like, "What? What's the good news?" I said, "You won an award." He was like, "Me? An award for what?" I had to explain to him that it was from the university. It was about his community involvement and his dedication to his volunteerism at the Boat Museum. And he was really overwhelmed. He had no idea. He was so surprised. And that was a gift in itself for him to be so surprised. And he was so grateful. He was the kind of person who didn't like attention on himself. And he probably might have faked sick and not come here tonight and said, "Somebody else do this." He was always in the background, lifting other people up for their interests and being the cheerleader, but for himself, he stood in the background and didn't really want his acknowledgments for his accomplishments. So if he was here today, he probably wouldn't talk about himself. He'd want to focus on the importance of history. He would acknowledge the strengths of our ancestors, the grit and the determination they had to make a living from the sea, and how they worked in our communities to build small boats that provided the money and nutrition to keep us alive. Some of us look at our history and we see hardships in Newfoundland and Labrador, and believe me, he saw hardships too. He experienced a lot of traumatic things, almost death as a child himself, and still in his life journey, anybody who knew him would speak about his drive for fun and being funny. He was hysterical. He laughed at everything. He had detailed genealogy research. He had a high drive to document history so it could inform generations to come. He liked and was dedicated to providing spaces for history to stay alive. His volunteerism was so important to him, and he was deeply committed to his family and their well-being. If he was here today, he'd probably say, don't forget where you come from. He would always ask somebody, where are you from anyway? And if they said to him, well, I'm from St. John's or I'm from Mount Pearl, he would say, now where are you really from? He was interested in the small fishing villages that people might have connections to and how communities came together to support each other, to thrive and grow. He might even take his genealogy to the next level and say, you know, your people probably fished in Poole. And then maybe they came to Trinity and your family probably fought a life to live in Trinity and then moved to another fishing village. To watch him weave that narrative of genealogy, history, and the people's paths was just amazing. He would also like to say thank you. He always said thank you for the most significant or minor acts of kindness. He always said thank you. He would also like for us to give back to our communities, to volunteer and give your gifts back to those who need them. He would believe that it's our involvement that allows communities to grow and thrive. He would also want us to remember how important we all are to each other and that our connections are a foundation for our resiliency. And he would definitely say thank you to everybody. He would be honored to be in the presence of all the other winners here tonight, and thank you very much.
When he convocated with his Bachelor of Engineering in 2017, Adam Keating won the prestigious Chancellor's Undergraduate Award, the Governor General's Medal, and the Dean's Honor Award in Engineering, all in recognition of academic excellence and leadership at and beyond Memorial. Adam was clearly an exceptional student, a natural leader and innovator, a dedicated team member and hard worker, a problem solver, a doer, a helper, with a disposition to meet the need wherever he saw it. As a fitting culmination to his studies in mechanical engineering, Adam became a founding member and team lead of the 2017 Paradigm Hyperloop team that would take second place in the worldwide SpaceX Hyperloop competition in California. And when you hear that, you know it is both cool and impressive, even if you aren't immediately sure what it means. Always a bit of a trailblazer, Adam's team was the only North American team to compete that year, and the first ever to use an air-bearing system successfully on his pod. With his star on the rise, and while literally on a plane, winging his way to take up a lucrative job, a dream job really, in Silicon Valley, Adam and his school friend and Paradigm teammate, Jeremy Andrews, made the surprising decision to eschew their tempting offers in California for the much less certain path of tech startup life back home in Newfoundland. No doubt inspired by local successes like Verafin and MISA, and by a professor of engineering entrepreneurship who encouraged them that the best moment to take a real risk was that moment, they chose to return home to invest their time, energy, and skill directly into this province's emerging world-class tech sector. This was the beginning of Collab Software. Created to accelerate the pace of innovation, to deliver better products faster, as the tagline says, Collab knows that when it comes to new product development, time is money. They provide software to engineering teams that drives effective communication and decision-making and smooths workflow to make collaboration easier. With clients like consumer product companies in major sectors such as automotive, defense, and industrial equipment, Collab's success has been quite astonishing. As co-founder and CEO, Adam is driven, solutions-oriented, and mindful that as a leader, your team is your most important asset. In only 2 years, Collab became the first Atlantic Canadian company to be accepted into the highly competitive Y Combinator Accelerator program. They have secured many millions of dollars in financing and have significant plans for further growth. This success is not an accident, but directly attributable to the strength of Adam's leadership and CoLab's commitment to creating a positive and progressive work culture. In 2023, Atlantic Business Magazine recognized this achievement by naming CoLab one of the best places to work in Atlantic Canada. I'm very excited to see what happens next. It may seem premature to speak of a legacy for someone so young, someone who is just at the beginning of what will certainly continue to be a fascinating and successful career. But Adam Keating's impacts on Memorial's Faculty of Engineering and Applied Sciences have been transformative, and the opportunities he has created for future students are immeasurable. Adam played a key role in the creation of the Student Design Hub, which is a manufacturing and assembly space enabling students to bring design and artistic projects to life. Adam continues his involvement by chairing the SDH Advisory Board and is always thinking about new ways to foster student innovation. When he's not building his company, he is creating community. Whether submitting himself to the dunk tank at a Young Adult Cancer Canada fundraising event, or hosting the Keating Memorial Basketball Tournament in honor of his late father, which he and his family did for 8 years, he makes time for the people and causes that matter to him. The Horizon Award recognizes exceptional contributions and a high level of achievement in alumni who are 35 years or younger. It is my pleasure to invite the young and brilliant Adam Keating up to the front now, along with Dr. Octavia Dobre, who was Adam's nominator, so that she can present him with his award.
First of all, welcome everyone. What a beautiful evening, and congratulations to the other award winners tonight. And thank you very much, Dr. Dobre. Where's Matthew Conway? I can't see him anymore for nominating me for this award. It truly means a lot to myself and my family. And I'll say before I say anything else, I learned things about myself in that write-up just then. That was maybe the nicest things that are written about me. So thank you very much for doing that as well. It's a true honor to be here. And before I get into telling you a little story, there's a few thank yous that I need to make. Firstly, I think this might be the most organized event I've ever been to. I asked what might we want to talk about during the speech, and I was given a million different pieces of advice with here's how to park, here's how to come in. It was a beautiful event and very well planned, so thank you so much to everyone. To the selection committee, to the university, to the faculty. My co-founder, Jeremy, was actually in the back here. This journey is really both of ours and a very important part for us moving forward. To my team at CoLab, we're about 80 people now, headquartered here in St. John's, and funny enough, this week a lot of people from our external team outside of Newfoundland are actually here as well, so it's a bit of a special week for us. And most importantly, my family and friends. Today I've got my fiance Riley, my brother Alex, and typically my mother would be here. She's after texting me a few times today, but she's on a 10-day cruise over in Europe, and I assured her that she must do that because 14 of her friends are going, and it's one of those things that in life, you get those moments and you really need to take them. But my mom did not forget. I lose track of the days when I go on trips. And sure enough, 8 o'clock this morning, I woke up to a text message saying, congratulations and enjoy a beautiful day. Was mentioned a little bit about my dad. My dad was actually a Memorial alumni as well, from an early class in the mechanical engineering side. It's the reason why I ended up going to Memorial and actually starting in mechanical engineering. Truthfully, in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I liked basketball, but going to the NBA was not in my cards. I liked science and math. And at that point, I was trying to figure out, what should I do? And I ended up saying, you know what, I'll try engineering. Funny enough, I didn't like it actually for the first semester. Not many people know I didn't like the first semester. It was pre kind of the true engineering. I was kind of running between the engineering building and the education building 5 times a day, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. But that second semester, everything changed. And that was the period when I realized that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I found my classmates that are still some of my best friends today. I went on my first work term, actually with ExxonMobil here in St. John's. And that's the point in which things kind of switched for me. And it's also the point in which I lost my father. It was about 2 weeks after my second semester. So a lot of what I did after that was really, in his memory. Interestingly enough, my dad, for anyone who knew him, very conservative, very quiet, very true to the integrity of a professional engineer. I don't know if he would have approved of some of the risks I've taken over the last number of years, but it was a lot of, pieces that came together because of my time at MUN. We talked about the pod and Hyperloop. What you need to know about that was the experience that changed my life. And it was not so much building the vehicle. It's easy as a Newfoundlander, I think, to think small. I played sports growing up. I got absolutely crushed many a times going to national events, thinking that I didn't belong there. I couldn't compete there. And this student design competition was 1,200 teams all over the world, the best teams out there. And to show up to that first event in Texas and there be 100 teams picked, first of all, I thought was amazing. Memorial was a part of a 6-university alliance where we also didn't feel like we belonged. It was Memorial, Cornell, Princeton, Harvey Mudd, Northeastern, and then Michigan. 5 very prominent schools in the US, and somehow we were, in the mix as junior students. That weekend, we presented our design. I also saw MIT present their design. The gap between the two of us felt like it was unrecoverable. And at the end of the weekend, they told us that we were on the bubble for the top 25. I think that was the moment fundamentally in my life that I realized, okay, the gap between incredible and where we were just wasn't that far apart. And that was the point in which I think I committed the rest of my engineering degree to trying to build a Hyperloop pod that worked, and wouldn't have been able to do it without the support of Memorial. The dean at the time, Dr. Natterer, and the associate dean, Professor Fisher, did a lot for me when people did not understand what a Hyperloop pod was. It was very hard to get funding, and nobody even wanted to join. They were the people who put their necks out for us and ultimately gave us the chance to go so far as to be able to support us in actually building that vehicle. That group then competed. We did quite well with that, but truly what changed was the culture of the people who were in that team. There was 18 of us from Newfoundland, all Memorial at the time, a couple from the College of North Atlantic as well. Out of that one group, 5 companies started, 4 of which are still active today. 1 has already had an exit. And the rest of those folks have all gone on to lead some exciting career and kind of pave the way for other people. And I think for me, that was the part that then gave me the confidence to start CoLab with Jeremy. I remember we talked about, should we go back and work for Tesla and Reflection Medical, and it felt a little crazy at the time to say, we're going to turn that down. But in the end, it was the right advice. It was the right advice. We were at the right time to be able to take that risk. And give us truly a special opportunity to then build something here in Newfoundland, where today we're working with the biggest companies all over the world to help them figure out how can we get our products out into the world years faster. We're not talking days and weeks, we're talking literally years faster. And to be trusted with that after doing an engineering degree is kind of a truly special full circle moment. It has been an absolute grind for the last 6 years, but something that's truly special, and to be able to do that here, bringing in lots of Memorial grads. I think at some point this year we checked, there's 22 people on our 80-person team that were once interns from Memorial, who are now full-time, and many of which leading incredibly important parts of what we do today. Our chief strategy officer, for example, led the Enactus team at Memorial. She's now our chief strategy officer, leading everything from revenue and product to the biggest deals we work with today. And those are all because of Memorial connections. So the thing that I want to say is at the end of it, getting people out there, like our responsibility, I think, as alumni is to help people see the opportunity. Because before I had that opportunity in Texas, I truly didn't believe I belonged there or could do that, which kept me thinking small as to what was possible. And that's why I've invested my time into the Student Design Hub as an example, because that's where these next generation students can actually see what is truly possible. It's actually incredible to watch. It's like a mini trial of entrepreneurship where it's okay for them to fail, but they're forced to build it all themselves. There's no one there to, there's a couple people there to help them out, but there's not enough there to certainly make those projects happen. And it's truly the most impactful thing that happened in my life was doing that experience. And today I think, you know, the advice I would give is anyone that can give the opportunity to send someone to Silicon Valley for a couple of weeks, an internship, a conference, it's so impactful on what their imagination can bring back to this place we call home here in Newfoundland, Labrador. So in closing, I want to say a huge thank you once again to Memorial. Thank you as well for trusting me at the engineering faculty to get the Student Design Hub off the ground. It's been a passion project of mine, and I appreciate the support I've received, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
The J.D. Eaton Award recognizes superior leadership and volunteer contributions to Memorial. Through his sustained and diverse commitments to our Faculty of Business Administration, this year's outstanding Memorial Ambassador, Luke O'Brien, has demonstrated the true potential and power of alumni engagement. Luke's Bachelor of Commerce Honors Co-op from Memorial, which he completed in 1997, set him up well for his next degree, which was an MBA from the Rotman School of Management at U of T, as well as for his Chartered Financial Analyst and Personal Financial Planning designations. He worked for about 10 years in Toronto before being called home, where fortunately for us, he'd have more direct opportunities to get involved with Memorial as a proud alum. Luke currently holds securities, options, futures, and insurance licenses and is a senior portfolio manager and wealth advisor with RBC Dominion Securities. As a successful investor, Luke is obviously gifted with the powers of analysis and persuasion, of knowing how to read not only markets, but also people. While a student, this talent led to great successes in business competitions of various kinds. He was so good, in fact, that he and his debating partner, Adam Denny, would take the ICBC Debating Championship in 1996, and then for a second time in 1997, even though Memorial didn't qualify a debating team that year. When a space in the competition opened up last minute, Luke and Adam jumped at the chance, hopped on a plane, and even with little warning and no prep, they smashed it again. Luke has merged this ability to adapt quickly and perform well under pressure with his solid financial credentials and his extensive knowledge of investment and wealth management, and he has brought this potent combination to his many roles at Memorial as a guest lecturer, volunteer, advocate, and major donor. He shows up for events, champions Memorial in the media, and has recently served on an alumni panel for the Faculty of Business Administration's accreditation review. Absolutely dedicated to fostering the links between Memorial and the business community. From 2014 to 17, Luke was the university's executive in residence in applied finance, which is an unpaid position that's appointed on the basis of professional stature. But Luke's primary interest is in advising, supporting, and working with our students as they develop professionally and personally through their Memorial education. As a founding donor to and longstanding mentor of the fund, our first student-managed investment fund, Luke has been playing a significant role in nurturing future generations of business leaders since its inception in 2017. The primary motivation for the fund is as a teaching tool that provides students with hands-on experience managing an actual portfolio. In the recently refurbished White Trading Lab, students use real-time information sources to generate stock pitches, individual stock performance updates, monthly portfolio reports, and annual reports. In fact, I strongly encourage you to read the fund's own 2022-23 annual report. It's slick and professional and inspires nothing but confidence in would-be investors and participants alike. Luke's initial donations enabled the Faculty of Business Administration to get the fund off the ground, but the capital base of the portfolio has more than doubled in 5 years, suggesting it's meeting its objectives. It is an exemplary and highly valuable experiential learning activity for our students, teaching them leadership, networking, teamwork, and technical capital market skills. As part of the fund's programming, there are over 30 mentors who are professionals in the financial and business sectors and who work intensely with students, provide career advice, and generally support and encourage their creativity. With due respect to any other fund mentors in the room this evening, Luke is one of the best, maybe the best, and most dedicated to the task. Please join me in thanking Luke O'Brien for his incredible leadership and volunteer service to Memorial University and for his investment in our students through his generous, unwavering, and impactful support of the fund. I'm delighted to welcome Luke up to the front, along with Dr. Trevor Brown, Dean of the Faculty of Business Administration, to present him with the 2023 J.D. Eaton Award.
Well, thank you, Dr. Lokash, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with all the other award winners and the people who are live streaming this as well. Indeed, you're right. I am a proud alumni of Memorial University. In fact, my mother reminds me that I got my start at Memorial at age 3 when she enrolled me in MUN preschool, from which I proudly graduated in 1979. Fast forward several decades, though, in 2010, I did move back from Toronto after working for some years there and was having lunch with Dr. Alex Fazaruk. I asked Alex how I could contribute to the business faculty, and he said that actually one of the professors there, the finance professor, had been made associate dean on short notice and needed to lighten his course load, so did I want to come in and teach some courses. So I did. And I taught a couple courses a year for the next 5 years or so. And I very much enjoyed it. Teaching is enjoyable because it gives you an opportunity to engage with younger people, which is inherently interesting. But if you're running a course, you also have to deal with the administrative side of things and grade exams and listen to excuses about why assignment wasn't handed and that sort of a thing. And these things are a little bit more tiring. So I guess the key is to really find ways to interact with university students without actually having to formally teach them. And I've done a few things like that over the years. I want to talk about a few of them tonight, just a couple. Enactus Memorial is a long active student group that engages in community-oriented projects. And it was very interesting to hear you mention Enactus as well, Adam. Well, about 15 years ago, one of the Enactus groups was pitching at a national competition, and they came up with this idea where they would organize what they call business boot camp for people who were releasing from the Canadian military, because you can release from the Canadian military and be a veteran at a relatively young age, some of these people, and some of them were a little bit older. And they won the competition, hands down, and they went out and they developed this program. They went out and found various professors and some other people, including me, for about 8 years, who we would be the subject matter experts and teach the various components of this week-long intensive course. But we didn't have to do any of the administration. We didn't have to do, there was no marking to do. So I'm very proud that I was able to, in a small way, contribute to that very successful activity, which was started here in this university. I should mention as well, it was picked up by then Prince Charles Charity Trust, and it was brought elsewhere in Canada and even to some other Commonwealth nations. And it exists today as well, albeit in a virtual form. It's a great success. I was much more heavily involved with the Student Management Investment Fund, which you are correct, it is called the Fund. I didn't actually name it, and I don't know if at some point we're going to need our marketing students to maybe jazz that up a little bit, but that is what we call it, and it tends to work. When I was an MBA student at University of Toronto, we had a student-managed investment portfolio, but it was with fictitious capital. And fictitious capital is okay, but dealing with real capital is much better. So 5 or 6 years ago, I was able to put up some of the seed capital as a donation to the Faculty of Business, which was joined then by Brad White, who has been a tremendous donor to the Faculty of Business as well, and the Bloomberg Trading Lab there is named after him. The capital was essential, but it required really the tireless effort of faculty advisor Dr. Erin Olford to bring the fund to fruition. She established the governance structure and each year hires the 15 or so student analysts and portfolio managers. And I put the word hired in quotes because they're not really paid, so technically they're not really being hired, but they like to hear you're hired, so that's what we roll with. It's a pure equity mandate, and the fund invests approximately 50% in Canada and 50% in the US, which includes some international companies as well. They thankfully have never invested in cannabis or cryptocurrencies, so it's not fad driven. It is not day trading either. Okay, the student analysts conduct fundamental bottom-up research and prepare reports, which are then presented to the portfolio managers, which tend to be sort of second-year students who are involved with the fund. Some mentors are typically present at these presentations as well and ask some questions, but make absolutely no decisions. It is the students themselves who make all of the decisions. They do own Fortis, by the way, and they're interested, I'm sure, in investing in Colab if it's ever publicly traded, Adam. I could go on about this all night, but sufficient to say is that I have been thoroughly impressed for the last 5 years about how much work the students put into these efforts, and it is a very professionally managed fund, which has made money every year except for one, I will add. I never met Doug Eaton, after whom this award is named, but I know many people who did, and they all tell me that he was a well-respected professor and dean and a great contributor to the university community. I am honored to now be associated with his memory, and I encourage all of those who are not currently finding a way to contribute to university to perhaps find a way to do that. And if you're unsure of where to start, maybe go out to lunch with take a former professor perhaps out to lunch. If you weren't an alumni of Memorial University or you don't have any time or all of your former professors are retired or dead, then by all means feel free to contact the university and donate money, because that is another way to help as well. Thank you very much.
So as a tradition, we will now enjoy a musical interlude before the final award is presented. It is my great pleasure to welcome Julia Cass on trombone, Mario Miranda on bass, and Liam Kovich on piano, a musical trio from Memorial University's own School of Music.
Are we good? Yes. Thank you. That was wonderful. The Alumna of the Year Award is the highest distinction bestowed upon a memorial graduate by the alumni body. It recognizes outstanding contributions, exceptional human values that are an inspiration to others, and an ongoing commitment to the memorial community and beyond. Tashia Batstone is this year's most worthy recipient. I confess I am relieved that Tashia found her way to the building this evening, as I understand that among her many unquestionable and well-honed skills as a leader in the field of professional accounting, a good sense of direction is not something she possesses. I'm told she once left home in CBS to drive to Torbay, where she used to live, I might add, but somehow ended up enjoying the wildlife in Butterpot Park. Nevertheless, for the last decade, she has deftly managed a complicated commute between her heart's home and family in St. John's and her work life in Toronto, where she is currently the president and CEO of FP Canada, the country's leading certification and oversight body for the financial planning profession. Tashia grew up in a small family in Newfoundland, and though she is an accountant like her father, she had actually set out to become a lawyer when an intense love for her first accounting course as an undergrad at Memorial put her on the path that brought her to this day. Tashia's 2 degrees from Memorial, a 1991 Bachelor of Commerce honors in accounting and finance, for which she won the gold medal, and an MBA in 2007 have clearly served her well. And what she has accomplished in the 16 years since then is nothing short of remarkable. As she moved from public accounting into academia, into increasingly more consequential executive positions for regulatory bodies in the financial services sector, Tashia's impact on the accounting profession in Newfoundland and Labrador and in Canada has been profound. Although she was thriving as president and CEO of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Newfoundland and Labrador, Tashia is wired to relish and seek out new experiences, new challenges, and new learning. When an opportunity to move up to the national office presented itself, she seized it. While Vice President of Education Services for CPA Canada, she was instrumental in the unification of the accounting profession and the development of new national certification standards. Then, as Senior Vice President of External Relations and Business Development, she devised and launched the Foresight Initiative, its mission to reckon with a changing profession and to rethink how CPAs can provide value and greater financial well-being to all Canadians. For Tashia, there is nothing more energizing than this type of transformational change, particularly when it marries her love of teaching and sharing knowledge with her genuine passion for and visionary thinking about the profession of accounting. With her strong sense of curiosity, her strategic mind, and her ability not only to operationalize her ideas, but to get others equally excited about them, she seems uniquely skilled at managing complexity and making good things happen. She shows a consistent willingness to work hard, work with, and take her lessons forward. And this makes her an authentic, credible, and truly inspirational person and leader. Among her career priorities has been increasing equity, diversity, and inclusion within the profession. Under her leadership, for instance, the CPA partnered with the Martin Family Initiative to create the CPA Martin Mentorship Program, designed to better prepare Indigenous youth for the workforce by pairing them with mentors from the accounting and business communities. And Tashia is, of course, herself a smasher of glass ceilings. On top of her professional accomplishments, she has been a steadfast advocate for women and girls through her 30 years of involvement with the Girl Guides of Canada and the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. In August, she was awarded the Medal of Service, the highest recognition that organization can bestow. I invite you now to turn your attention to the screen to hear more about our Alumna of the Year.
Tashia wants to see the best in everything that she does. When she's passionate about something and she sees the value, her enthusiasm and her passion comes through, and she motivates others to want to achieve the same things that she's doing.
She's got a really good strategic sense. She's able to focus on what are the big picture needs of an organisation. She's tremendously committed to the cause of girls and young women and their empowerment.
Tashia's motivation comes from the desire to make change when the change is going to result in something better. It's not just accepting status quo, it's having the insight to realize how things could be better and using her talents to move that forward.
Tashia is driven, committed, passionate. She leads by example and is always challenging her staff to think outside the box, to always make improvements and to make a difference.
She has a real strong dedication to equity, diversity, and inclusion. It's shown in her role as CEO of Financial Planners, where that is part of one of her targets and priorities in terms of increasing representation.
As a mom, she pushes me and my brother to do our best in everything. She is fully supportive of our career paths. She has always been incredible at making time for us and being an incredible role model in her career so that we know that anything is possible.
One of the largest impacts Tashia had in professional development would have been through the unification of the accounting field. Previously, we had a number of different designations. Through the work she was doing with the CPA Canada, she was instrumental in moving to a single designation, which we now call CPA, and as well played a critical role in the development of the certification programming that basically puts forth the standards that all accountants across Canada must meet.
As with any merger, lots of opposition to the change. And part of the change involved building a new education model. Tashia was instrumental in helping that come to play, in getting it built correctly. So she had her own background in terms of education knowledge, working with a lot of different parties to get a model that met the professional needs of our country.
She's a class act on every front. She's done a lot in the profession. She believed that students across Canada should have access to the same standard of professional education. And through her leadership, the profession built a national education program that was adopted by all provinces in Canada and Bermuda.
She demonstrates everything we want in our students at the Faculty of Business. She's demonstrated her ability to work across sectors of the economy, her ability to have an impact provincially, nationally, and globally. And it's also important from a business perspective that we look at social impact and doing good. And there too, she's excelled with a long-standing commitment with Girl Guides.
It's been tremendously valuable for the board of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts to have somebody with Tashia's strength and depth of experience in the finance profession. She feels herself that having been a Girl Scout when she was a young woman and a girl has been of tremendous influence in her personal development and her professional development. And so I think she wanted to give back to the international guiding movement so that other girls and young women around the world have an opportunity to develop the sorts of strength of character and resilience and confidence that she developed herself.
She doesn't ask you to do anything that she wouldn't do herself. And what she does is she lights the fire. She lights the fire and then she lets you go, and you work on it with that same passion that she brought to it.
Everything she does to 110%. It's quality work, both in her family, professional, and her volunteer life. Tashia wants to see the best in everything that she does.
Her circle of friends and family would definitely describe Tashia as loyal. She's the glue, she's the cement, she's the one who makes things happen for us.
She has been my inspiration for everything that I have done for my entire life, and I believe that living up to her would be the greatest accomplishment that I could ever have.
Honored guests, university folk, all those tuning in online, thank you for your attention. What a privilege to be part of this joyous event. We will soon join a celebratory reception where I hope you will feel free to share with me where you stand on the whole large duck, small horse issue. As my final task, please join me in congratulating the extraordinary Tashia Batstone. I now ask her to come up to the front along with Trevor Brown, who will pin a new badge to her guiding sash and present her with the 2023 Tribute Award for Alumna of the Year.
Well, good evening, everyone. That's very difficult to come up and speak after. Dr. Lorgas, thank you for that lovely introduction. President Bose, Chancellor Ludlow, my fellow award winners, members of the selection committee, and all the attendees this evening, good evening, and thank you for being here tonight. I am deeply humbled and profoundly honored to receive the Alumni of the Year Award from Memorial University. This prestigious award, I can't explain, it just fills me with an overwhelming sense of gratitude, not only for the university, of course, but also for the remarkable journey that has brought me to this moment, which really all started with the education that I received at Memorial University. As I stand here tonight, and I'm going to get you back, Judy, I cannot help remember back to May 1991. I had just graduated with my Bachelor of Commerce, and Judy, a mentor and now one of my dearest friends, by the way, it was her class in accounting that changed me from deciding to go to law school to become an accountant. She reached out and she said, "Did you receive any mail today?" And I said, sort of flippantly, "Yeah, I just got a letter advising me that I had won the Governor General's Award. I'm sort of excited, but I really don't know what it is." Exasperated, Judy looked at me and she said that I was probably the only person smart enough to have won the award and not enough sense to know what it was. Judy, you'll be happy to know I figured this one out right away. In all seriousness, though, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Memorial University, its faculty, and the entire community. This institution is not just a place of learning. It is a place where dreams are nurtured, talents are honed, and future leaders are crafted. My years at the Faculty of Business were transformative, thanks to exceptional professors, mentors, and fellow students who challenged and inspired me to push my boundaries and strive for excellence. I do remember one of my first conversations I had when I was trying to decide what my future career was going to look like, and it was actually with Dr. Barnes, who was the dean at the time, and I'm so delighted that you're here with us tonight. I owe an immense debt of gratitude to my family. I'm so happy to have so many of them here with me tonight. My mother, Cherry, my mother-in-law, Phyllis, and my partner in this crazy life, as you saw from the video, Sonny Collis. Your support and encouragement has been the backbone of my success. My father passed away almost 20 years ago, and as you heard tonight, he was also an accountant. And despite his best advice, I decided to follow the same career. I know he's here with us tonight, and after 20 years, he is still in my thoughts every day, and I know how proud he would be. In particular, I want to acknowledge and mention my children, Emily and Michael. You are both my proudest achievements. You inspire me every day to work toward making this world a better place. I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to the nominators who believed in me and supported my journey for so many years. Your belief in my abilities and contributions is deeply appreciated and truly humbling. To the Department of Alumni Affairs and the Awards Committee for your work and this incredible honor and this lovely evening, thank you so much. To my friends and my colleagues, your faith in me has been a constant source of inspiration. Thank you for your unwavering support through both the challenges and for the good times. In reflecting on this honor, I cannot help but reflect upon and think about the profound impact that Memorial University has had on so many Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. As the only university in Newfoundland and Labrador, MUN has a pivotal role to play in preparing our young people for the future. So many amazing alumni of Memorial have gone on to great achievements because they had the opportunity to further their education, and they had the opportunity to do that right here in Newfoundland and Labrador. And it's an opportunity that may not have been available for so many, given the financial and even more so cultural challenges of going to a university up along. But let me be clear, MUN is not a default. When I graduated from high school, I was offered scholarships from many universities, but I knew I wanted to do a business degree and that the Faculty of Business at MUN offered one of the best programs in Canada. That is a decision I have never regretted. In receiving this award, I stand here not as an individual, but as a representative of all Memorial University alumni who have gone on to make a difference in their respective fields. Together, we form a diverse and accomplished community that continues to carry the university's legacy forward. And I firmly believe that success is not measured solely by personal achievements, but how we contribute to the betterment of society. Through my work with Girl Guides in particular, I have been very committed to fostering opportunities for future generations, just as Memorial University did for me and for so many others. And as we celebrate the past, I can't help but think about the future. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace, and there's challenges everywhere. But I am confident that with the education and values instilled by Memorial University, that we, the alumni, are equipped to meet these challenges head on. I want to congratulate my fellow Tribute Award winners, Luke and Adam. It's an honor to share the stage with you this evening, and I'm so impressed by your incredible accomplishments. To the Pinhorn family, your father's contributions exemplify everything that is so special about Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, and the importance of preserving our rich and cultural history. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt thanks once again to Memorial University for this incredible honor. It is a symbol of the enduring connection that alumni share with this institution, and I pledge to carry the values of integrity, resilience, and commitment that I learned here throughout my entire life. Thank you all for your support, your belief in the power of education, and for joining me on this extraordinary journey. Together, bolstered by our experiences at Memorial University, I really believe we can continue to make a positive impact on our communities, our province, and the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And there you have it. How can you not be impressed and inspired by our Alumni Tribute Award recipients? Once again, congratulations to our honorees this evening.
Thank you to our orator, Dr. Lokash. You were dazzling and distinguished. We'd like to say a special thank you to all the colleagues, friends, and partners here in the audience, and all of you joining virtually who are celebrating with us.
Thank you to the talented folks at the Center for Innovation in Teaching and Learning at Memorial University, also known as CITL, who created the beautiful Alumna of the Year video honoring Tashia Batstone.
Please join me in a round of applause once more for the recipients of the 42nd Alumni Tribute Awards. Before concluding, I would encourage you all to nominate deserving alumni for the Tribute Awards next year. To be considered for the 2024 awards, get your nominations in by March 15th. The nomination process has been simplified with an online form, and it is available year-round. More information on how to nominate individuals for the Tribute Awards can be found at www.mun.ca/alumni.
This concludes the award ceremony portion of this evening's festivities. We ask the president, recipients, nominator, presenters, and the orator to move to the lobby for a formal picture at the conclusion of the ode. Sarah, I don't know about you, but I feel so inspired after this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you once again for inviting us to be a part of this very special event. On behalf of Armand and myself, it was truly inspiring. Before the reception begins, please stand if you are able and join us in singing the Ode to Newfoundland with fellow alumna Anna Rumbold. And just a quick reminder, the reception will be at this side of the room.
When sun rays crown thy pine-clad hills and summer spreads her hand, when silvern voices tune thy rills, we love thee, smiling land. We love thee, we love thee, we love thee, smiling land. As loved our fathers, so we love, where once they stood we stand. Their prayers we raise to heaven above. God guard thee, Newfoundland. God guard thee, God guard thee, God guard thee, Newfoundland.